It was a sunny afternoon, and Keanu Reeves was walking through a bustling shopping center. The crowd was full of people, some of them running errands, others just enjoying the day. Keanu, dressed casually in jeans and a t-shirt, was minding his own business as he strolled through the mall. He loved the simplicity of these moments, just blending in, not drawing attention to himself. But today, things were about to take an unexpected turn. As he passed a group of teenagers gathered by the food court, one of them, an outspoken young man, noticed Keanu walking by. His eyes widened in recognition. "Hey! Isn't that Keanu Reeves?" the teenager shouted loudly, causing the others to look over. The group of teens began to laugh, pointing at Keanu. "What's he doing here? Isn't he too old to be shopping in a place like this?" the teenager mocked. "Guess he's just here to remind us how humble he is. Probably too proud to hang out with real people." The group erupted into laughter, the teenager's words sharp and cutting, aimed directly at Keanu. Keanu, who had been walking calmly, paused for a brief moment, his eyes meeting the teenagers. The mocking tone of the group made the air feel tense, but Keanu didn't flinch. Instead, he kept walking, a quiet calm radiating from him, as if their words had no effect on him. The teenager's words hung in the air, but Keanu chose not to respond. It was clear that the young man was looking for a reaction, but Keanu wasn't going to give him the satisfaction. The teenager, emboldened by the laughter of his friends, continued his taunts. "Come on, Keanu, what's with the whole nice guy act? Don't you know that being famous isn't enough anymore? It's all about making real money, real power," the teenager called out, his voice rising with each word. "How many times are you going to pretend you're some kind of saint?" Keanu, now only a few feet away from the group, stopped in his tracks. The teenager's words, though harsh, were more of an invitation for conflict than a genuine attack. The group of teens stood there, eagerly waiting for Keanu to react. They expected him to snap, to get defensive, or even to throw a sarcastic remark back. But instead, Keanu turned slowly toward the teenager and gave him a calm smile, his eyes full of understanding. "You know, it's easy to judge people when you don't understand them," Keanu said softly, his voice steady and calm. The teenager, caught off guard by Keanu's response, blinked in confusion. "You might think that being rich and famous means I have everything figured out," Keanu continued, his voice still kind. "But in reality, the most important things in life aren't wealth or fame. It's about how we treat each other." The teenager paused, unsure of how to respond. He had expected an argument, perhaps a defensive reply. But Keanu wasn't angry. He wasn't trying to fight. He was simply offering a perspective. The crowd around them, who had been watching the exchange, began to quiet down, sensing that something different was happening. The teenager stood there for a long moment, processing Keanu's words. His bravado began to falter, his cocky demeanor slipping away. I didn't mean to offend you," the teenager said, his voice quieter now. The group of friends, who had been laughing along with the insults, fell silent as they watched the teenager's reaction. Keanu didn't press him, instead giving him a small, understanding smile. "It's okay," Keanu said, his voice gentle. "Sometimes, we say things without thinking about how they might affect someone else. But what's important is recognizing when we've hurt someone and doing better next time." The teenager's face flushed with embarrassment as he looked down, realizing the weight of what he had just said. Keanu's calmness, his gentle words, had not only silenced the crowd but had also made the teenager reflect on his own actions. The power of kindness had done what insults or anger could never do, it had made the teenager feel something deeper than the desire to mock. Keanu's gaze softened, and he placed a hand on the teenager's shoulder. "We're all human," Keanu said quietly, "and we all make mistakes. But it's how we grow from them that matters." The teenager, now visibly uncomfortable with the situation, muttered an apology. "I'm sorry, Keanu. I didn't mean to say those things. I guess I was just caught up in trying to look cool in front of my friends. Keanu nodded, acknowledging the teenager's admission. It's alright, Keanu said simply. We all get caught up in the moment sometimes. What matters is that you understand where your words come from. The teenager stood there, looking at Keanu with a mixture of surprise and newfound respect. Keanu had not responded with anger or sarcasm. He hadn't humiliated him in front of his friends. Instead, he had shown him that kindness and understanding were the true marks of strength. The group of teenagers, who had been laughing just moments ago, now watched in silence. They had expected Keanu to react defensively, to match their mocking tone with something just as harsh. But instead, they had witnessed something far more powerful, a man who, through simple words and quiet strength, had turned the situation into a lesson about humility and self-awareness. As Keanu turned to leave, the teenager called out to him. Keanu, thank you. I'm sorry for what I said. Keanu looked over his shoulder and gave him a warm, reassuring smile. It's okay, he said gently. Just remember to treat people with respect, and be mindful of the things you say. The world doesn't need more anger or judgment, it needs kindness. The teenager nodded, his face now flushed with a mixture of embarrassment and gratitude. Keanu walked away, leaving the group of teenagers standing in stunned silence. The encounter had not only humbled the teenager, but it had left a lasting impression on everyone who had witnessed it. The power of kindness, the strength of humility, and the courage to rise above mockery had shown everyone that the greatest response to cruelty wasn't retaliation, it was compassion. If you want more stories like this, where kindness and humility triumph, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications.